Trauma bonding. When love feels like pain, yet you still hold on. If you have ever loved someone who caused you pain, and you found yourself staying, hoping, explaining, and holding on, even when a part of you already knew the relationship was slowly destroying you, you deserve to understand what truly happened inside you. This experience has a name. It is not weakness. It is not lack of self-respect. It is not your fault. This is trauma bonding. A psychological bond that forms when affection and pain are given by the same person, creating a cycle so powerful that it feels impossible to break. It never begins with hurt. If it began with pain, you would have walked away immediately. It begins with warmth, a warmth that feels rare, intimate, and deeply validating. They made you feel seen in a way that felt profound, almost fated. They recognized the parts of you that others overlooked. They reflected back to you the version of yourself that you always hoped someone could understand. In those early days, their presence felt like a safe place to rest your spirit. Their attention felt sincere. Their words felt meaningful. It felt like the universe had finally delivered someone who could meet you at the depth where you live. And because the connection felt real, you opened your heart without hesitation. You trusted. You softened. You allowed yourself to believe again. But once your heart was open and your defenses were no longer standing guard, the shift began. Not loudly, not violently, not in a way that would cause you to flee. Just subtle changes, a colder tone, a delayed response, a withdrawal of warmth that was once freely offered. You noticed the difference immediately. Your heart recognized the loss before your mind had language for it. But instead of acknowledging the pain, you questioned yourself. You wondered if you were imagining things. You told yourself to be patient, to be understanding, to give them grace. And just when the ache became too heavy to bear, they returned to you with gentleness again. The affection was back, the tenderness restored, the softness revived. Your entire body released. Your chest loosened. Your breath came back in one slow exhale that felt like relief. That moment of relief, that is where the bond forms. Because your brain begins to associate the person not only with love, but with the end of suffering. You don't become addicted to the person. You become addicted to the moment when the pain stops. This is the same neurological loop used in gambling, in addiction, in psychological conditioning. Intermittent reinforcement is the most powerful emotional hook the mind can form. And so the cycle repeats. Warmth, withdrawal. Love, silence, affection, distance, pain, apology, hope, collapse, and then again. And with each cycle you lose pieces of yourself. Not all at once. Slowly, quietly, in ways you don't notice until you barely recognize the person you have become. You stop asking whether the relationship makes you happy. You begin asking what you can do to keep the love from disappearing again. You become smaller. You speak more softly. You tiptoe around their moods. You suppress your needs. You learn to endure instead of express. And the most painful part is this. You don't stay because it feels good. You stay because every once in a while, it feels extraordinary. The memory of the beginning becomes the anchor that keeps you in place. But the beginning was not love. The beginning was the hook. The relationship you are in now. The inconsistency. The confusion. The longing that is the reality. And healing begins when you allow yourself to see that truth without trying to soften it. You are not in love with who they are. You are in love with who they pretended to be, long enough for you to bond. The cage does not break all at once. It cracks first in silence. In the moments where you whisper to yourself, "I deserve a love that doesn't hurt." Healing does not require you to stop loving them. Healing requires you to start loving yourself more than you love the cycle. If this spoke to you, write, "I'm waking up," in the comments. Your words may be the message someone else needed to see. Share this video with someone who is trapped in silence. Subscribe to Obscuremindscapes and stay close, you don't have to untangle this alone. And when you are ready to understand the psychology behind this cycle and how to break it gently without breaking yourself, you start the journey to healing. The links to my book, Dark Psychology and Manipulation, are in the description of this video. You do not have to run. You do not have to force anything. You simply have to remember, you were never meant to live inside a love that requires your suffering to survive.